Today I'm going to go over The Great, which is something that I watched on Hulu last night. It's the first time I've seen it. Thought it was absolutely fantastic. And then just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that went on in it from a dramatic theory point of view, and then give you an idea of how you could do the same in subtext. So if I come into the premise builder, the show is a satirical comedy. Closest thing would be dark comedy. There's some dark comedic moments. You'll see subtext move the through lines into the four different positions they would be to create this kind of story. That's a lot like the death of Stalin. It's Russia, same thing. So the objective story plot is in psychology. So it's all about everybody's dysfunctional ways of thinking and the comedy that comes in there. And the main character, Catherine, is in mind, and her personal thing is her obsession with love and how excited she is about everything. The influence character is likely either her husband, Peter the Third, or I think Mariel, it's probably a handoff situation. So what happens in dramatic theory is it's the perspective, it's not really the character that's important. So that the point of view of being evaluated based on who you are, so the king, or I guess he's the emperor. And then Mariel used to be somebody of stature or status, and now she's just a servant. And then the relationship, the central relationship, which is the marriage between Peter and Catherine, is all physics. For the actual character elements, the two most important ones that the story revolves around, it's very much in this lower right-hand corner, contemplative, so that the objective story is about getting the idea, conceiving, hey, this isn't exactly what you think it is. Those aren't hats. Those are supposed to be wigs. Trying to get the idea of what's actually going on here. The relationship story is the strongest because they grow by learning, hey, this is what it's going to be like to be married to me, and all the kind of crazy stuff he does, shooting rabbits. And then she is not conscious of what the heck is actually going on. And then Mariel is very much in the present. I would think it's a conventional satirical comedy. So it's action oriented because when he comes in and does his thing to hopefully make a child, that kind of changes things around. When she gets dumped in the water, that kind of changes the plot in a new direction. And then finally she tosses the knife away. I would guess linear for the mindset. I didn't get a sense that it was holistic. So it wasn't organized around the relationships, but more about cause and effect. The point is for her to change out of that naive point of view. And then the character motivation pair would be certainty to potentiality. She arcs from being absolutely certain love's the most important thing, I'm going to love Peter, to then, oh, I have the potential to be the empress. Then the ending would be a triumph. So when you get out of your way and abandon being certain something is correct, so these are all different versions of certainty. When you get out of your way, so she's her own worst enemy, the premise says you're the problem. You got to get out of the way and abandon this motivation, certainty that something is actually correct. You can get an idea that I would say come up with an ingenious idea. They're all different versions of conceiving. You get rid of the certainty and you can get the idea that, hey, maybe you could be empress. I'd have to think about this pro-action motivation. I could definitely see it from the emperor, definitely driven to think it doesn't matter what you want. This is what I'm going to do. Always being proactive. Maybe he is the clear influence character. And then maybe Mariel steps in to fill in the blanks. So with that, you would just build story, and that's going to take about 5 minutes. And so I'll be back when that's done. All right, I'm back. That actually took about 10 seconds. And that's because it's a story that's already been built here in subtext. Just come in here, and I think the players would be Catherine. Influence characters, definitely Peter the Third. Marriage is the relationship. So yeah. And then the objective story plot is all about permission. You're not really allowed to read. You're just supposed to roll multicolored balls on the grass, and everybody's driven by this certainty. This would be the issue of the objective story, is what you can and can't do. So the permission issues. And when people try to accept and be okay with everything, then there's lots of rejection in there. Catherine here, this is her personal through line. So investigation is that issue of like how exciting the world is and how fun and new, and oh, I can't wait to see what this is. She's very much driven by her desire to want to be able to do these things and bring this stuff to all of these women, but then is taken aback by the different reactions that are going on around her. The fact that she has no doubt as to who she is, I think, is a really good, unique ability that allows her to get to this place of potentiality, because she knows She has something much more to give. It's just that she's never taken the time to do the work. And then here, I would say the work issue is definitely from Mariel. So there is a lot of handoff between Peter and Mariel. And then here, the relationship story. I love this issue of prerequisites. No, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give me a kid. We're supposed to do this. In the very beginning, he comes and evaluates her, walks around her. And so the relationship is very much based on this initial assessment of, well, you look much taller in your portrait, and then puts her off balance and really embarrasses her in front of everybody who's rejecting her. But then at the end, there's a reevaluation of the whole situation. Like, hey, you know what? You could be empress. And the last signpost here, she's trying to escape, and he teaches her a lesson. That's the concern of learning as a relationship story concern. They grow through, hey, I'm going to teach you the way that things are. And that's how their relationship grows to a place where she would then reevaluate. That's just it really quickly for today. Just wanted to go over that. If you have any questions about anything I went over, just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great one. See you tomorrow.